This show is unhinged in the best possible way, and we are going to talk about every single layer of it. So here's where we start. Sam Cooper. Alfred Molina playing him like he was born to carry this specific type of grief, which is the grief of a man who lost his person and genuinely hasn't figured out how to be a person without her. His wife Lily is gone. 5 months. He moves into the Boroughs, this pristine, too perfect, suspiciously cheerful retirement community, and from minute one, the vibe is off. You ever walked into a place that was just a little too clean? A little too friendly? Like the kind of neighborhood where people wave at you from their driveways, and it's somehow threatening? That's the Boroughs. Sam is not here for it. He rips the built-in smart assistant out of the wall. He dodges every social invitation. The man came here to disappear quietly into his grief, and everyone around him is offering casseroles and community events, and he is exhausted by it. Completely relatable. 10 out of 10 character work. But here's what Sam doesn't know yet, and what the show slowly reveals, like it's peeling back layers of something genuinely rotten underneath. The cheerfulness isn't just culture. It's by design. Because the people running this place, Blaine and Annalise Shaw, the CEOs, the picture-perfect power, couple of Desert Retirement Inc., they are not just real estate developers with good branding. They are immortal. And the whole community exists to keep them that way. Let's go back to the 1940s, because the origin of this thing is actually kind of fascinating deep under the land. The Boroughs now sits on former coal mine, former copper boomtown, basically a place that kept running out of resources and reinventing itself. Blaine found an egg, a glowing alien, absolutely do. Not touch egg buried in the earth. Now, a reasonable human being finds that and calls someone. The government, a scientist. Literally anyone with credentials. Blaine did not do that. Blaine looked at this egg like it was a business opportunity and took it home. The creature that hatched from it became Mother. And here's what's genuinely tragic about the whole setup. Mother was not hostile originally. The evidence points to her being almost generous at first. She may have healed Annalise's polio. She may have helped them in ways the show only hints at. She was miraculous. And they looked at a miracle, said, "How do we monetize this?" and built a whole operation around her. Over decades, Blaine and Annalise established a system. Mother's blood, gold, glowing, genuinely spectacular, extended human life when consumed. So they drank it. Regularly. Daily, it seems, based on how dependent they became on it. Mother's children, these spider-legged, glowing-eyed creatures that look like something your brain generates at 3 a.m. when you ate too much before bed, would sneak into residents' homes at night, extract cerebrospinal fluid, and bring it back to Mother. That fluid fed her, and the cycle continued. The Boroughs was a farm. The retirees were the crop, and Blaine was out here shaking hands and asking if everyone was enjoying the dining options. Now here's a biology question the show raises that I genuinely cannot stop thinking about. How long does the blood actually last? Because the way Blaine and Annalise behave, they're consuming this stuff constantly, daily, which means either the effect wears off fast, like within a day, or they've become so psychologically dependent on it that they can't go without it even if they technically could. Think about that. They found immortality, and they still turned it into an addiction. They're bathing in the stuff by the end of the show. Literally. Bathtub, gold blood, 2 ancient immortals soaking like it's a spa treatment. At what point did that become normal to them? And there's another angle here that the show teases but doesn't fully close. Annalise at one point suggests there might be another way to stay young. Another method. Which, is that a plot hole? Or is that intentional seeding for a future season? Because if there's a secondary source of the same effect, that changes everything about the mechanics of what's keeping them alive. The peach tree in the mine speaks to this. Art finds it in the cave, glowing, growing in the dark, completely unexplained, and he eats the fruit. His body heals. He reverts in age temporarily, just from a peach. And the moment he picks it, the tree dies instantly. Gone. like it gave everything it had in that one piece of fruit and had nothing left. I agree with the read that the tree was a natural manifestation of whatever the egg did to the soil over 70 years. Mother's biological signature soaking into the earth slowly, accumulating, eventually blooming into something organic and renewable, or at least potentially renewable if you treat it right. But Annalise finds the seed art saved and just eats it whole, immediately, and starts vomiting blood because she is so saturated with Mother's essence already that adding more is like pouring gasoline into an engine already running at max capacity. And that's the metaphor the show keeps returning to. What happens when you drain a miracle until there's nothing left? Blaine and Annalise didn't just exploit Mother. They bled the entire ecosystem of whatever strange energy she represented. The tree is the clearest image of it, alive and extraordinary right up until the moment someone took from it and then instantly dead. Okay, let's talk about the squad because this cast is ridiculous and I need a moment to appreciate it. Alfred, Molina anchoring the whole thing, as Sam is expected. The man is incapable of a bad performance. But then you've got Alfred Woodard and Clark Peters and Gina Davis in this ensemble of retired people who slowly realize they're in a horror movie and decide to fight back. This is the geriatric Avengers. This is what happens when the people who should be worrying about HOA fees and pickleball tournaments find out they're being farmed for brain fluid. They build weapons. Sam is an aeronautical engineer. So when it's time to fight back, he doesn't pick up a gun. He looks at the CRT television stacked around his house, which Mother had been using to try to contact him all season. More on that in a second. And he thinks, concentrated light. The creatures are light sensitive. What if I turned every TV in here into a directed beam weapon? What if I made a retirement community particle accelerator? And IT works. Blaine walks his whole crew into that house, thinking he's cornered Sam, and instead Sam and Claire just beam them. Analyze disintegrates. Several associates go the same way. Blaine survives but gets knocked out. The engineering brain never stops, man. Even at the end of the world, Sam is problem-solving. But back to Mother. Because she's the actual emotional center of the show, and I don't think she gets enough credit for that. All season, Sam has been having visions of Lily. Terrifying, distorted, grief-soaked hallucinations of his dead wife. Everyone around him interprets this as cognitive decline or severe emotional trauma. And look, it could have been. The grief is real. But the show reveals that Mother doesn't experience time the way we do. She's nonlinear. She perceives across moments. And somewhere in Sam's fractured, grief-locked consciousness, a man literally trapped in the past, unable to move forward, because moving forward means accepting that Lily is gone. Mother found a frequency she could access. That's what the televisions were. That's what the visions were. Not just grief. Mother's SOS. She had been trying to reach him from the moment he arrived, because he was the only one whose mind was operating on a wavelength close enough to hers. His grief bent him toward her reality. And what did she want? Not revenge, not escape into the world, not to be studied or worshipped or used. She wanted to go home, back to the cave where the egg was, back to the beginning, and then she wanted to rest. She asked Sam to take her there, and he did. The death scene is genuinely one of the most moving sequences in the show because Mother, who has been exploited and caged and drained for decades, who never asked for any of this, who became more human the longer she was forced to interact with humans, uses her last act to heal Judy. One touch. A woman bleeding out from a stab wound. Just healed. Complete. And then she asks Sam to carry her to the cave, and she thanks him, and she lets go. That's the E.T. reference the show is clearly nodding to. Except this time the alien doesn't go home to the stars. She goes back into the earth, where she started. Now, the glitch dinner party at Sam's house. Everyone alive, everyone together. The house somehow renovated and warm and perfect, which is already a little suspicious if you're paying attention. Claire notices Sam's head wound is leaking. He goes to the bathroom mirror to check it, and in the reflection, Sam flickers. His image stutters like a corrupted file, like something in his fundamental code is no longer running on the standard operating system. He goes back to dinner, unbothered. Doesn't even seem to register it. My theory, and I'm pretty committed to this, is that Sam absorbed something from Mother's explosion. He was standing at ground zero when she released everything. The same way Mother became more humanoid over decades of absorbing human biological material, Sam got hit with a concentrated burst of whatever she was. And it's changing him. He's healing from physical injuries. We see evidence of that. But the healing isn't clean, it's glitching. Because human biology isn't built to process what just got deposited into his system. The darker theory is the coma read. Sam didn't survive the blast. The dinner party, the renovated house, the warm light, and everyone being okay. That's a dying brain constructing peace. Given how much the show leaned into Sam's mind, generating elaborate grief hallucinations earlier, it's not a stretch. The show could absolutely be operating on both levels simultaneously. Either way, the man who came to the Boroughs to disappear quietly into his grief, to cancel his lease, and leave without connecting to anyone, that man is now something the show doesn't have a name for yet. He couldn't die in the explosion. He's glitching in mirrors. And everyone he loves is sitting at his dinner table like nothing happened. If that's not a setup for the most interesting season, two premise on TV right now, I don't know what is. So is The Boroughs worth your time? Without hesitation, yes. The pacing takes an episode or two to find itself. That's real. The first few episodes are deliberate, almost patient, in a way that might test you if you're used to shows that throw chaos at you immediately. But the slow burn is the point. Because once the foundation is laid and the horror reveals itself from inside the warmth, the contrast hits so much harder. 4 out of 5, easy. Alfred Molina could carry a show about watching paint dry and make it compelling. But here he's given actual emotional architecture to work with, and he delivers completely. The supporting cast is stacked. The mythology is tight and self-contained in a way that feels respectful of the audience's intelligence. And that ending has me talking about it right now, which is really the only metric that matters for a Season 2 case. Drop your theories in the comments. Did Mother fully pass something to Sam? Or is he just changed by proximity? Is the dinner party real or constructed? And most importantly, is Sam Cooper now father? Because if so, Season 2 is going to be a completely different kind of show, and I am beyond ready for it.